Good afternoon to all you lovely people. Happy Wednesday. I'm your host, as always, Doodleman149, and today I'll be covering a weapon suggested by a viewer. Watermelon34 commented on my 725 video, link below, asking if I could cover the SKS. Well, Watermelon34, as I said I would, here's the video you requested. The SKS comes to us from the frozen tundra of Russia and is basically, if you like AK but enemy is far away. Chambered in Russia's 7.62 round with a fire rate of just over 300 rounds per minute, this DMR provides a nice clean 2-shot kill to the torso at all ranges, or a 1-shot headshot at its closest damage range, which turns out to be a respectable 50 meters. All of this combined with a base magazine of 20 rounds means that we have an accurate, powerful, and relatively spammy DMR. Strangely enough, this weapon is robust enough where even without any attachments, it is still an excellent weapon, if you couldn't already tell that from the background footage. There are a couple unique attachments with this weapon, so without further delay, let's get into these builds. For my close range variant of the SKS, I've created Frostbite. We start off in the muzzle section with the compensator to cut down on this weapon's recoil a good bit. Next, I use the 16-inch FSS Parabarrel to increase our overall mobility while sacrificing some control and range. Next, I use the monocle reflex sight for better target acquisition. I use the 10-round magazines for better ADS speed, general mobility, and reload quickness. And lastly, I throw on the commando foregrip to help stabilize our shots without hindering our ADS speed, keeping this build very snappy. The Frostbite was the fastest build I could come up with that was still effective at medium ranges. Had I removed the stock with this build, the recoil would have been far too high, making it almost unusable at ranges. The compensator has its work cut out for it in order to battle the downsides of the short barrel, but it does an adequate job. The monocle reflex sight was just used for variety, plus I like using it on Russian weapons for some reason. If you don't need a sight and feel you can handle the increased recoil, then perhaps you'll replace this with a no-stock attachment. The 10-round magazines are a good choice for increased mobility while cutting our magazine capacity in half, something I feel is worth the benefits of this attachment. To end this build, I've chosen the commando foregrip mostly to keep the weapon's ADS speed high, even though this does cost some movement speed. It also helps to keep the recoil almost entirely vertical, making this weapon very consistent when firing rapidly. Overall, this weapon works extremely well in both standard multiplayer and ground war, despite the stubby barrel. However, given the extremely low reserve ammo for snipers in Warzone, this build won't do too well there. If you're in the market for a longer range SKS build, then might I recommend my windchill variant. Sporting the tactical suppressor to start, we're kept off the radar with only a minimal amount of ADS speed loss. The 22-inch FSS M59/66 barrel, geez what a mouthful there, is your basic heavy barrel, increasing range and recoil control while sacrificing mobility. The VLK 3x optic is next on the docket to improve our visual range as well as reduce recoil. I've chosen next to use the focus perk on here for reduced flinch, and I round this build off with the Ranger foregrip to keep our aim stable as well as cutting down on our vertical recoil. While I know I've complained about the spammy DMR-14 from Cold War in previous videos, see the link below for a rant, the windchill is honestly just as spammy of a DMR. The power and range of the base SKS are on full display here while also having ridiculously low recoil thanks to the long barrel, the VLK sight, and the Ranger foregrip. This build is best for holding down lanes, similar to an LMG, but it is also a good choice for counter-sniping and supporting a squad pushing to an objective. Pushing with this build isn't really recommended as it's very slow. The barrel, foregrip, and VLK sight all make for a slower ADS speed, so snapping onto close-range enemies won't be as easy as it is with the Frostbite build from earlier. If you're looking for a great long-range DMR for any of the 3 game modes, then this build will work great for you. It's not quite as strong as the DMR-14 or the Type 63 from Cold War, but if you want a respectable DMR, then this is the way to go. This build may struggle a little bit in standard multiplayer, but it works amazingly in ground war and Warzone. So that'll about do it for my coverage of the SKS. I'd like to thank Watermelon34 again for a suggestion of this video. If he hadn't suggested it, you'd all have been treated to my VLK Rogue video instead. Overall, how do I feel about the SKS? It's great, plain and simple. I don't really like to praise commie weapons too much, but I can't really argue against the SKS when compared to other semi-auto DMRs available in Modern Warfare. It is a great starting ammo capacity, a nice rate of fire, clean iron sights, and great damage and range. There isn't too much to dislike about this weapon. It doesn't even handle that slowly. I'm honestly surprised I don't see more people running this gun, but who knows. Maybe after this video I will see it more often. If you haven't yet given this robust Russian rifle a try, then I highly recommend it. Getting fast one-shot kills is nice, but it's even better when you don't have to rechamber around immediately afterwards. I'd like to thank all of you who've made it to the end of the video. I must admit that I have a decently bad headache while I'm recording this, so I apologize if I stumbled anywhere. This was the last day I have available to make this video, so I had to power through. I hope you're all having a great week and a great Wednesday. Until next time, I've been Doodleman149, you've been great, and I will see you later.